Helen knows this because I've said this to her, and I said it to a lot of people, but I've never had a chance to say this to a whole group of people. I'm just gonna say a couple of things. One is that the University of Houston owes so much to Garnet Coleman. What he's done legislative over the years, the Texas grant program, the money he's gotten for the hobby school, and the work he did to help bring us the College of Medicine. I could go on and on. There's all kinds of legislative done for the state of Texas. I think Helen mentioned the stuff. It's amazing what he's done in the health area. But he's an amazing guy in that respect. But the thing I want to talk about mostly, and what I want to tell people, is the genius that he brought and continues to bring to saving Third Ward. We talked about how much I love Third Ward. Well, if there's anybody that loves Third Ward more than me, it's Garnet Coleman. And like me, we both grew up in Third Ward. We both have a passion. And he's done such brilliantly creative things. You all know who grew up in Houston, Fourth Ward is gone. Fifth Ward is struggling. The only reason Third Ward has not disappeared like Fourth Ward, why it will not disappear, because of that man there, because of the brilliant things he did. And I told this to other people as my first and probably my last chance to say it to a whole group of people, but I want to say it while he's here to let him know how he knows how true it is, but how heartfelt it is for me, for someone who loves Third Ward too. So I wish we'd just give him another round. The other thing I want to do, just give a series of thank you. I gotta thank Helen. That I'm so overwhelmed. I'm trying not to cry and all that. That's very unmanly, so I'm fighting it back. But I didn't recognize who she was talking about. I don't think even my mother would recognize her. She was biased. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Couture, because she's not here, because I think we gave Change Happens our first Community Partner Award in 2016, and she has embraced the goal of enhancing and Third Ward through collaboration and partnership. I want you to know it's genuine and it's real, and it continues. I have the honor, because of her, to kind of try to coordinate the Third Ward initiative. But I invited some people here who took hours out of their day, because that initiative takes place because of the leadership and the activities of many of the people in this room. And I want to give them a shout out. First of all, we have, at this table, we have several deans. I think we have about, 13 academic colleges, and 4 of the deans are here today. And these are the deans who have done things with respect to helping make Third Ward better, sending some of their colleagues out. We have Dean Pablo, who's new. He's come in with a lot of energy, totally embraced the goal. He's the Dean of the College of Business. We have Bob McPherson. He's a veteran. Lots of his students and faculty work in the area of education in the greater Third Ward and elsewhere, I might add. We have Dean Alan Ambler, the College of Technology. He's worked with us trying to help people get jobs, and is always available if we need him. We have Andrew Davis, who's over the Catherine G. McGovern College of the Arts. He's embraced cherishing and nurturing the culture and partnering with people who want to expand that and embrace that. And also at my table, we have other people who also embrace this goal. Let me first point out Dr. Saliha Kumwala. She's over the SURE program, which trains entrepreneurs. Many of you probably heard of that. She started many businesses in the Third Ward and hundreds across the city. and she's aided by her assistant director, Charlie Becker. Charlie, wave your hand, because you're such a big part of that. Dr. Buck, we talked about the College of Medicine. He kind of stands in here now for a whole host of medical people. He's kind of representative. He's Associate Dean of the College of Medicine. But as he knows, we have people throughout the University of Houston who are doing things in the Third Ward and beyond. I just want to point out one thing. There's a program dealing with the mortality of mothers to address that disparity. Just commence at the Third Ward Multi-Service Center. That's just one example. There are many others, and there's going to be more things. The clinic they open up is going to serve underserved people, and the college itself, medicine, is focused on training family doctors. Katia Dow, she's with the law school, and law school has at least 2 clinics that reach out and engage in activities that help the underserved. She herself has, and the people under her have contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of time working with Change Happens. I think it's Positive Pathways, trying to work with a young man on probation, trying to seal their criminal records or expunge their criminal records. She continues to do that. They have another clinic that helps budding entrepreneurs get formed. We have Dr. Michelle Verma. Michelle Verma is a volunteer. She's on the very prestigious Board of Visitors at the University of Houston, but she chairs our task force on Third Ward schools, and she's just a wonderful person. And then we have Dr. Luis Torres. Dr. Torres is representing the College of Social Work. I'm sure many of you have benefited from the interns over the years, and he continues to send them out to do great work. And finally, but not the least, is Carl Hearn, my able assistant. Carl is an amazing guy. As Helen knows, I mean, when it comes to Kids University, Carl is omnipresent, does everything, has such a passion for it. And that's just one of the things that he does. There are many other people at the university. We could have filled this room with people from the university, but I really want to accept this honor, kind of in their name, and all the university students and people who embrace the goal of the Third Ward Initiative, and also the goal of Change Happens. And the goal is to partner and collaborate with organizations and people to transform the greater Third Ward. And these people, their efforts go even beyond that. And so in that spirit, I say thank you, and I want to say thank you to my wife. Yeah. First of all, for being here. Many of you know she travels. I often say to people, they say, well, say hello to your wife. I say, if you see her first, say hello. I say, because I feel like some of these people in the room see her more than I do. But I understand the load that she's had. Many of you may not know she's on the Homeland Security Committee. She's also on the Judiciary Committee. And those are 2 very heavy committees. And there's a host of other things that she does. What I admire most about her is that it's the little things she does. The number of times when people call and they can't get into a hospital. I don't know how many times this has happened. And she'll get on the phone, go to the hospital and make sure that they get the best care, or get into a hospital. It's a small, you won't read about it, but it's that passion for people that I admire the most. So thank you, Helen, and thank you for what you do. Helen, I remember when she took this position, I was thinking that, I was thinking maybe you weren't sure you could do this. Boy, she grew into it fast, didn't she? Whoa. Anyway, thank you very much. She's an outstanding, amazing executive director, and I'm honored to receive this award from you especially. Thank you very much. Brother.
going to say a few words and recognize us today. Thank you.
I'm not going to take a few words. I am filled with the beauty of this time and this day. I simply wanted to say to Susan and Brian, who have brought us together in a way that reflects what I think this luncheon Sunny is all about. It is never too late, it's never too often to say thank you. And I think when I look out into this audience, you have come to say thank you. And if I might be redundant in what you are already doing, and let me start from the top. I told Helen, with reference and deference to my good friend Reverend Leslie Smith, I used to see him with a little suitcase running back and forth to Washington with my affirmation or making sure letters, but going to those agencies and complimenting the work that Representative Coleman was doing by getting federal dollars. Those dollars are there, and he would run back and forth. But he'd be going, as he would say, with the most dynamic, unique prose written by Helen. This genius of a writer who then now just spoke to our hearts about Representative Coleman and my beloved. I told her work, her passion, her words, as she presented these honorees. You've got to give her an applause. Does she not have that ability to capture our hearts? And as she captures our hearts, she captures the hearts of the children. So it is a thank you to Helen. It is a thank you to my friend, both Garnett, though different time frames, and Elwyn came of age in 3rd Ward, Houston. My children came, Garnett, and you know it's the tray. I'm not sure what the next group is called, but it's a tray. And your children were lived in the tray, and we're in the tray. But his DNA is reflective. He knows that he won't mind me saying this, of the wonderment of his mother and his father, who were likewise iconic leaders in the tray. Most people didn't run for office unless they sat at the foot of Dr. John B. Coleman, and you had to get the affirmation of his wife to make sure everything was in order. So I am grateful for what he has been, and as his father sings with the angels, I know he's so proud that he has taken what he planted into Representative Coleman. Garnett, as I know him, that Garnett has never left his home and never forgotten his home, and has brought to his home all of the training. I think this is what Susan Taylor was telling us. This is legacy. This is change happens. I think this is spirit happens. The spirit moves you, and spirit happens today. And so that's what we have seen. Let me thank you, Representative Coleman, for the legacy of your family and for the genius of what, as my husband has already articulated, the lineage. And I've been glad to be a partner matching your state work with the federal work and the dollars that we have come. And we never divide, we're always a partner. Let me conclude my remarks by asking Brian Courtney to come up and Susan to come up as well, so that I can honor them. And let me indicate that I gave to Garnett Coleman, Representative Coleman, I gave to him an American flag. Let us not take lightly when we give out flags. We stood on the floor yesterday and we had a flag standing next to us. That's all I'll say about yesterday, because we're wrapping ourselves. We have to wrap ourselves in the honor and the tradition of this nation. So we stood by a flag, but I gave that flag to Garnett. I hope that I've not given him a flag. The flag did not come from down the street. I didn't get it at Home Depot. We have to fly these flags in from Washington, as you do Austin. I see my good friend Representative Reynolds. I know they will come up with Janita, but I just want to say it flew down because I brought it with me, and I did have an 11-hour journey coming in from Washington yesterday. It took me 11 hours to get here, but In any event, I want to honor you because I think it is important that we are showing that we who are elected, who are appointed in leadership, that we can love each other, that we can honor each other, that we can respect each other. Representative Coleman, you give him a very big hand. And as Susan and Brian comes, let me say about my husband who got his wings off of Isabella, if you're from the trade. And Isabella is right by a railroad tracks. And that is symbolic of Susan's story and the story of many. And you may not be African American to have a story of living by the railroad tracks, or something was a track in your life. And I really think what change happens represents is what my husband is some few years later, what Susan is, what Brian is, what those of us who have come from certain backgrounds are. That we live by a track. Somebody might have lived by a ditch. Somebody, we got fancy words like bayous. We might have lived by a hole with water in it. That was not pleasant. And if we leave here today, as Susan has indicated, that it is not where our children start that we should leave them. It is where we can hand them out and hand them up the opportunity to be any one of these. The thing that I'll say about my husband is the kindest heart, a big man with a humble spirit, but a fierceness when you tap into it. And I am grateful for his kindness, and I am grateful as well for the fact that he serves you, and that we came by this place today to simply say thank you. I will not read the resolution for Dr. Lee, but we took great pains to chronicle his entire life. I don't think he mentioned that he was vice chancellor, the first African American vice chancellor to serve, and so at the University of Houston, he loves the University of Houston and all of his colleagues and contemporaries. And I might say that I have a big stake in U of H, having had it in my tutelage, under my tutelage, as Garnett has had for more than 2 decades. I'm very, very humbled by the opportunity, but also overwhelmed by the growth and the depth of what we have seen in all that you have done to reach out. This is to Dr. Elwyn C. Lee from the United States Congress, and he is deserving of the admiration and respect of the Congress. Susan Taylor gave us, I don't know if Desiree is still here, but I volunteered my husband for the board, and I volunteered myself. So whoever is left behind, we'll work with you. Susan is my sister, and we're writing legislation now. She's modest. When we came and co-sponsored and co-led the suicide hearing, we do all kinds of things that never get noted, but she brought such experts. We are now going to be utilizing those experts to write major legislation that wraps into alternatives for people for children who get into the juvenile justice system, with the work that she has done now, she said, since Hurricane Katrina. And she's way ahead of us, but we want to help. We've said we were helping, we've done some things, but we now need to really push forward. Give both of these honorees a very big hand now. Susan Taylor, Congressional Resolution. And to Brian Courtney Wilson, that song should be an anthem. It really is. You know, I put the wrong words. I was saying good job, and Brian said get the right words, but I had the right spirit. Carl Davis and I on the Gospel Music Heritage, I have to know what the songs are, but we've had Brian Courtney at the Kennedy Center. He is deserving of the recognition and the statute because he is a humble spirit. 2 children, and I'm bragging his daughters at Cornell. I say that because you're out working, you're on the road, and you have to depend on family. And he is a wonderful father, a wonderful man of God, but also a businessman. And whenever you call him, when the city calls him, when Legacy calls him, you down the street with two people, Susan, and you call Brian, he'll come and lift you up. That's really Mr. Houston, as I call him. I honor you with a congressional resolution. And of course, as I've said, Helen is a small package, packaged in a mighty covering. And I believe that there's no place that change happens is going to go but way up yonder, going up and up and up to the glory of the children, starting at 6 years old on that corner and beyond. I'm also, I'm in my 15th, excuse me, I got the wrong time, going into my 25th year for the Toys for Kids. We had 15,000 children last year in the George R. Brown Convention Center. We hope to have 15,000 plus, all volunteers, and we want to make sure that we have how many busloads from, even though they do their own wonderful thing, busloads from the children that Helen will tell me that may be outside of the range of getting help there, that we can come with a bus and bring them down to have not just a gift giveaway, but just an opportunity to have a day of affirmation during this wonderful holiday of giving. And so for this 15th annual fall luncheon and the 30th anniversary, how gracious you are to acknowledge the founder, and as we do, and Dr. Smith, and then to be able to carry on and continue to keep the doors open, but to expand and make new partners and new friends with the University of Houston and all of the universities that may want to come and stand in the gap, and to choose such a outstanding musical genius in Brian Courtney Wilson, and then to bring someone that's lifted us off the ground, and Susan L. Taylor, again, by a track. She started by a track, but look where she is today. That's the children that you help, all started by tracks, but look where they can go. And so therefore, on behalf of the United States Congress, indeed, your dedication and commitment are deserving of the respect, admiration, and commemoration of the United States Congress. Sheila Jackson Lee, Member of Congress, November 1st, 2019. I think our gala co-chairs should be somewhere coming toward the stage now as we give them a hand. But give everyone, as we take this picture and ask the Reynolds to come forward. Better than that, give them all a big hand.